The following don't necessarily have to be in Smash 5, whenever that comes. These are just the 10 elements I'd like to see added to the Super Smash Bros. Series in one installment or another before it one day all officially ends. Hopefully that day isn't coming anytime soon. No matter how many Smash games we get, we'll always want more. Specifically, there will always be more characters that we want. We'll keep asking for those 1 or 2 characters to get in no matter how many times we have to ask. Here are some faces I personally want to see in Smash someday. They don't have to be in Smash 5, I would just like to see them get in eventually. If the series continues on forever, I'd prefer to have these characters get in before I die, because otherwise I wouldn't get to actually play as them. I want the ability to put my own music in Smash. It's as simple as that. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise when it's coming from me, since I have an ongoing series on my channel where I do just this by taking matters into my own hands. I understand that there are so many reasons why this or that song doesn't get remixed or included at all. We shouldn't expect every great video game song ever to automatically be included. But why not put more power into the hands of the players? It's already easy to disable the music in games, so why not put in the extra feature to import your own music files? You could put in literally whatever you wanted. Anything from video games, anime, movies, TV shows, soundtracks, you name it. I know, copyright is probably the pervading reason why we don't have a custom music option yet, and or never will. But all I know is, if Excite Truck on the Wii can have a custom music option, I don't understand why Smash Bros. Should be looked at any differently. And if it should for some reason, then point taken. In every new Smash game, I try my hardest to like and play on as many of the new stages as possible, but sometimes that's just not entirely possible. I don't like how broken the hazards on 75M are, the annoying bosses like Yellow Devil or Ridley, or the lava patterns on Norfair. Stuff like this can just be way too much, and they get in the way of having a serious or competitive match. Omega stages were a step in the right direction since they removed these intrusive mechanics, but I don't always like the way they strip away everything else about the stage that makes it unique, such as the platforms. So instead of putting up with all of the chaos on one end of the spectrum, or everything being Final Destination on the other, why can't we strike that middle ground? Smash absolutely needs the option to just turn stage hazards on or off. That's it. That's all we need. It's no different than toggling items or stages for random to choose from. If PlayStation All-Stars can do it, Smash has no excuse. Put in this one simple option and suddenly so many more player preferences can be accommodated. If people actually like stuff like stage hazards or bosses or what have you, turn the feature on. If they don't, turn it off. Maybe keep Omega stages in there too as an option, since I personally feel some stages do work better as flat terrain instead of being all over the place. But if we just had the simple option of turning stage hazards off, we wouldn't be interrupted and we could still enjoy everything else that the stage's normal physical structure has to offer. I think the vast majority of us can agree that Smash Tour was just garbage. If there was only one thing I can say I liked about it, that would be the way the final battle was structured. I really liked the idea of having a team of characters that switch out after one character gets knocked out. It gives a very Pokemon flavor to the experience, and it offers the players the ability to pit all of their best characters against the competition all at once. I'm pretty sure Project M had a mode like this, so what's the holdup here? I don't understand why this unique little twist was not implemented into Special Smash, since it is present in the Wii U version, but it's locked away behind a terrible mode. Here's hoping that Smash Tour gets dropped in the future, but this interesting little mechanic doesn't go to waste. You could call it something like Relay Smash. Brawl Stage Builder was a necessary addition to the series, even though it wasn't perfect. Smash Wii U Stage Builder tried to remedy some of the problems that Brawl's version had, but it still ended up facing new ones of its own. Someday, I just want a Stage Builder that takes the next step and really gets it right. Bring back all of the unique parts and pieces that weren't brought back from Brawl, like the ice blocks, falling blocks, spike blocks, conveyor belts, etc., and combine that with Smash Wii U's ability to drop platforms of varying shapes, and I think we have the beginning of a real evolution for this feature. Also, please give us the ability to copy, paste, and or drag pieces around the grid instead of having to erase them and start over from scratch every single time. That's annoying. Super Mario Maker has these options, and they make the entire process easier and more engaging as a result. Smash needs to make its stage builder as easy and fun to use as Mario Maker. You know, assuming that's even possible. Bowser is probably Nintendo's most iconic and recognizable villain. He's been in Smash for 3 iterations now, and I don't understand why he still does not have his own stage yet. Why have we not seen an official Bowser's Castle stage? The Mushroom Kingdom U stage does not count because that's only a third of the actual stage, and the Paper Mario stage on 3DS, well, that one just flat out sucks. No, when I say a Bowser Castle stage, I mean something that really goes all out. I'm talking lava, thwomps, skewers, fire bars, lava bubbles, you name it. Just think of all the amazing Bowser Castle themes and remixes that could play here as well. And if the stage absolutely had to come from a specific game, I don't know, pick one from Mario Kart or something. Based off of Mario Kart 8, that would look amazing. Seriously, there is so much potential here, and I'm surprised that nothing has come of it yet. I don't enjoy Melee nearly as much now as I did back in the day, but that doesn't mean other people don't still prefer it. Let's face it, the hardcore Melee players are never going to stop wanting the Smash Bros. Gameplay to go back to Melee style. Whether it be Melee HD with online play, or a game to be built from the ground up to return to this style, it's something that's probably always going to have demand behind it. So why not try to address that demand even just a little bit? If it's possible, I would love to see an entire mode dedicated to Melee's mechanics in order to cater to the people who prefer Melee. Everything from faster speed to heavier gravity to changing air dodging back to what it used to be like. Give people more options, more ways to play, appeal to even more people with these games than they are already. I'd like to believe that a lot more people would be enjoying the more recent Smash installments if there was some sort of Melee mode included in it. I don't know how likely or possible it is to implement something like this, but if it is at all possible, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it, even if I personally would be probably indifferent towards it. I personally enjoy Smash just the way it is right now, but all I know is I'm happy. I like seeing other people happy too. I'd like for there to be a lot less hatred, debating, and just toxicity in general in the Smash community, and I think throwing the Melee players a bone like this would help. Would it stop people from finding shit to complain about? Hell no. People will always do that. But including a mode with Melee-like mechanics, I think, would be a step in the right direction. I don't know the history or process that takes place in order to decide what characters are ultimately included in Smash, but if Smash 4 has taught us anything, it should be that just about anything is possible. I mean, come on, nobody seriously expected characters like Ryu or Cloud to make the cut, or for Roy to actually return. That's what makes Smash so magical, and I'm pretty sure that a lot, if not all of the most surprising or amazing additions were possible due to Sakurai's magic as a director. I mean, I don't always agree with his decisions, but I won't deny that I believe he made a lot of really good choices in the end. That being said, we don't know for sure if he'll even come back for the next Smash game, or what a new director would be like. But if I could have things my way, I would love to see a full-on reunion. By that I mean bring back all of the characters who have been in Smash at one point or another, especially the ones who were eventually cut from the roster. I'm talking about Pichu, Young Link, Ice Climbers, Snake, Squirtle, Ivysaur, Wolf, all that jazz. Let's just throw logic and reasoning out the window for a second. Every character had its fans who were ultimately hurt when their favorite character didn't return. But what if they did, even if it was just for one more game? That's what I'm proposing here. Regardless of how many new characters we might get next time around, I would love to see an attempt to take all of the characters who have ever been playable in Smash, put them in for one more round, and in doing so, bring back all the players who loved them. Just one grand reunion for old time's sake. Forget about the clone argument, forget about the irrelevancy or character X replaced character Y stuff. I just think it would be awesome if everyone got a second chance to play as that character they miss. Give those other Smash players a chance to feel as happy as the Mewtwo, Roy, and Lucas fans did this time around. Now, I'm not saying this is at all likely to happen, because it probably really isn't. It all depends on who's directing the next Smash game first of all, and what their approach is to the roster. But like I said before, I'm happy, I would like to see other people happy too, and I think that bringing back all these forgotten characters for one more round would be a pretty great way to do it. Sakurai, you tried. You tried to do new and interesting things with Break the Targets, Multi-Man Smash, Race to the Finish, etc. I appreciate you trying. But at this point, I think we just need to return to form. I want to see the Smash minigames go back to what they used to be like in earlier installments. I want to see Break the Targets go back to individualized stages of 10 breakable targets for each character, despite how much of a nightmare that would probably be at this point to develop with a roster of 50 plus characters. I want to see Board the Platforms come back since we haven't seen it since Smash 64. I want to see Race to the Finish return despite how easily characters like Sonic would probably break it now. Maybe also consider bringing back that trophy snagging minigame from Melee, that one was pretty cool. People love these minigames because there's something fun for players to do on their own outside of playing in matches with their friends. It's great that some of them are still around, but they've changed so much from how people remember them, so it's time to stop. It's time to go back to basics. I want to see these classic minigames come back, and I would like to see them go back to being how I remember them, instead of trying to evolve into these weird things they are now. It's cool that Smash Run had variations of targets and Race to the Finish, but they were exclusive to that mode and locked away behind the mode only to be accessed by random chance. I just want the full freedom to play these addictive little side attractions, and I would like for them to trim the fat and just go back to what they did best. Keep Trophy Rush though, that one was pretty cool. Oh yeah, and a bit of an honorable mention here. Fix the online netcode, please! I think probably the biggest thing people will look back on years from now and always continue to criticize Smash Wii U and 3DS for is the lack of a true single-player component. This time around, we didn't get anything like Melee's Adventure Mode or Brawl's Subspace Emissary, and for a lot of people, that was a pretty big letdown. So the thing I would love to see in a new Super Smash Bros. Game the most is a true, solid single-player mode that learns from the previous attempts to give us something truly great. Super Smash Bros. Is a crossover series. People want to see these characters interacting. That's why they loved the cutscenes in Subspace Emissary so much. So having more cutscenes like that, first of all, would be pretty awesome. And Sakurai, buddy, I love you for almost everything you've done for this series, but real talk here for a second. It's 2016. People are going to spoil your story by posting cutscenes online no matter what you say. It's inevitable, and you can't let that stop you from trying to make something new altogether. Or at least come up with a better excuse than that. But as great as the cutscenes were in Subspace Emissary, one of my biggest complaints with it was the bland generic locations to explore. Outside of the Howlbird, what iconic Nintendo worlds did players venture through? Oh, the generic grass field, the forest, the desert, the sky level that I guess is supposed to be from Kid Icarus, the castle that might or might not be from Fire Emblem, the research facility that looks like it could be from Metroid, but really isn't. No, this just doesn't work. I prefer Melee's Adventure Mode, as tedious as it can be, because I'm at least traveling through locations based on these iconic franchises. I'm traveling through levels based on Mario, Zelda, F-Zero, Ice Climber, you get the idea. This is what I want and what I think a lot of other people would want too. Just imagine the gameplay and cutscenes from Subspace Emissary, but taking place in actual Nintendo worlds, or even third party if they would allow it. And while you're at it, copy and paste the enemies from Smash Run into these environments. That was awesome to see these actual recognizable enemies and characters make an appearance in a Smash Bros. Game. Plopping them in levels that actually look like the games they come from would really help give the players the sense that these franchises are legitimately crossing over. Just to really emphasize that feeling that this really is a crossover game between Nintendo franchises and guests. I don't know what the actual plot of this Super Smash adventure would be like, I don't know what would actually be happening in these hypothetical cutscenes, but I'm not expecting anything super deep or complex since this is a fighting game. But all I really want is something with a little more ambition. Smash is all about celebrating Nintendo's history, or I guess the history of gaming as a whole based on the third-party characters we have now. And I think Smash really needs some kind of engaging single-player campaign to really capitalize on that. The series will always be loved for its multiplayer, and it's great that the developers are showing no signs of forgetting that. But we're not all little kids anymore, Nintendo. We can't just invite our buddies over whenever we want. Sometimes we're just gaming alone, and since the online play still has a long way to go before it can call itself decent and stable, it would be pretty great if players had something in the game that could play on their own. That's all. So what do you make of these suggestions? Do you agree or disagree? What would you personally like to see in Smash someday? Feel free to discuss this down below. Thanks for watching. This has been Brawlmaster 012 signing off.